Hello team, welcome back. Previously we have discussed how we can do the installation and we have done the setup of the Docker desktop and Docker on the Linux server. Now we will start with the Docker, right? We will start with the Docker functionality. First we will check the installation, then we will check the configuration and we will start learning about few commands in the Docker. So as of now we are not going to use the Docker desktop. We will use the Docker on the server. So we created the DigitalOcean server and we installed the Docker on it. So we will use that particular server machine for the few next lectures. Once there is something which I need to show you on the Docker desktop, I will show you on the Docker desktop. But for now, we are going to use the server. So what we will cover as a beginner, as of now, we are beginner in the Docker because we don't have seen the Docker, right? I'm not sure if you have some experience in the Docker, but I'm assuming that the people who are learning this course, they are beginners. So what we will cover as a beginner? Very first, we learn about the containers. What are the containers? How we can initiate the container on the Docker? We'll check out the versions of the Docker and the Docker CLI, and then we will learn about the container management command. So to execute the stuff on the Docker, you need to use the Docker CLI. So you need to be very specific about the commands. The command should be on your tips, and these are the command which you will be using while you will be working with the Docker. So let's start with this. So very first we will verify the version of the Docker installed on our machine. So as I told you, we will use the server side machine. So team, here I have opened my server side machine, Docker machine, where we installed the Docker. So let's check the version of a Docker using a command docker version. Hit enter. Once you will execute this command, you will get a two kind of output. Very first, we are getting the output of the client, right? Second, we are getting output of the server. So what is this client and what is this server? So you can see this is the client of the Docker engine community and this is the server of the Docker engine community. So client is Docker client. So if you remember, while we was installing the Docker, we have installed the Docker C, Docker CLI, Docker container D, and there was few more libraries. So this Docker client is a Docker CLI, the command line interface which will interact with the Docker engine. And this server is a Docker runtime environment, right, which is actually executing the Docker. So this CLI Docker used to communicate with the Docker server, and this server is the actual Docker server which is executing or which will execute your containers. So the version what we are using as of now is 20.10.21. API version is 1.41, and the same version of the server we are using and the same API version of the server. So this is the client version and this is the server version. It doesn't matter that you are using some different version of the server and different version of the client. You can do that as well, but generally I prefer to use the same version client and same version server. So that is the reason I have not specified any specific version while doing the installation of my Docker. Clear out the console. And next thing is verify the Docker engine setup and detail. And you can verify the Docker engine setup and details using the command docker info. So we will execute the docker info, hit enter, and here we are getting few details. You see we executed a command docker info. So this is the use of Docker CLI. This is the Docker CLI by which we can get the output from the Docker commands. What is the output we are getting? That this is the client, the context, the plugins which are available, and we are getting the output on the server. These are the number of containers which are available on the server: running state container, paused state container, and stop state container. Also we are getting the number of image which is available on this server. Then we are getting few other details like the C group, logging drivers, volume, and there are few more details available for the server. So at any point of time, if you want to get the detail of the Docker server, that what is the state of my Docker server, you can simply execute this command docker info, right? And you will get all the relevant details, whatever the details you want to know. Clear out the console. Let's move further, and next we will understand a command docker. So if you will list out all the docker commands, you don't know that what are the docker commands available for the docker, right? And few commands comes up and few command modify during the version upgrade of the docker. So you don't need to remember each and every command. If you want any kind of help, you can simply go to your docker and type a command docker. This will list out all the available commands on the docker. So if I will simply execute the docker over here, hit enter. See, we are getting a lot of commands. Let's understand them. So here we are getting the use, how we can use the docker command. So docker command always start with a keyword docker, then we have the option, and then we have the command. What are the options do we have? Options we have config, context, debug, host, log level, and -v. These are the shortcuts which are available. These are the abbreviation, and here you are getting the description of these options. So you can go through these options to understand it much better. Now, few other commands are there. One is a management command and another one is a commands. So what are the management command? So management commands are basically used to manage the docker, right? Where you want to manage the containers, whether you want to manage the services, swarm, or configuration, you need to use the manage command in that case. Now we have the commands. Whenever you want to perform some kind of operations, you use the commands like attach, build, commit, cp, create. So these are the commands, and in front of the command we are getting the description of each and every command, right? In front of the command we are getting the description of each and every command. So this is the this is the thing, this is the help you can prefer. If you don't remember the command, you can simply type the docker and you will get the complete list of the command with the details, that what is the detail, what is the purpose of that command and how you can use it, right? If you need some more help about a command, you can type docker, then type your command, then hyphen hyphen help. So let's understand it. Suppose we want the help of the image. So what we'll do, we will type docker image hyphen hyphen help, hit enter, and see, we are getting the complete help details or the commands which are available for the image. For the image we have these commands available. We are getting the command, we are getting the description of that command, right? So this is the another way how you can get the help on a specific command. If you don't know that what are the options do I have with the management command, you can use it. The another thing is docker management command format. So whenever you are executing some management command, what you need to do, you need to execute the docker, then you put the management command, and then you need to put the sub command. What is the sub command? Let's go to the terminal again. Let's take this example, we execute it. So this is the main keyword which we need to use to execute the docker command. This is the management command. We have seen that there are few management command and we have chose one of them. Once we ask for the help, it is saying that after the docker image we need to perform some command. And what are these commands? These are these commands. Let's perform someone. So docker image, and let's perform the history. This is the command. So you can see it is saying that docker image history requires one argument. So basically this can define the history of the image, but it also want to know that for which particular image I want to go with the history. In the similar way, let's go to some other command like docker container. So we will clear out the console. So this is the main keyword. This is the management command. Let's type help. And these are the commands which we can execute with the docker container command, right? Run rm start. So whenever you will execute any command like docker container, and after this you will put any sub command like we will put ls, what it will do, it will list the containers. Hit exit, hit enter, and we are getting nothing. If we put hyphen a after this, hit enter, then we are getting something. So with the option of hyphen a, we will get the all containers available. But with the command docker container ls, we will only get the running container, because we don't have any running container, so we are not getting anything over here. Similarly, if you want to perform some other command like docker container run or docker container restart, let's perform restart. If you will execute this, you will get an error. See, we are getting error. It is saying that the format is docker container restart. You need to provide the option and you need to provide the container name as well, that which container I want to start. So this is the main command, this is the sub command, and after this you need to provide some kind of argument which is accepted by that command. So this is the flow and this is the syntax of the docker commands. I hope you are getting my point, and now you are understanding that how you can execute the docker command on the docker. It doesn't matter you are using the docker CLI, which we are using on the Docker server, or you are using the CLI on the Docker desktop, the behavior will be same. But I prefer to explain you the things on the Docker server because this is the actual working place where you will be doing the things on the production. So we have seen few basic things. In the coming lectures, we will see few more things about the Docker container. And team, in the coming lectures, you will see a mixed kind of lecture. Few lecture will be the new lecture and few lecture will be the old lecture which I created earlier or which are already the part of the existing course. Where I feel the need that I need to update that lecture, I am updating these lecture, but where the lectures which already have the perfect content or the usable content, they will be untouched and they will be remain the part of the course. So it may possible sometime you will get the execution on the different machine, I mean to say the white terminal machine, sometime you will get the execution on the black terminal machine. So don't get confused, the command will not change. Whatever the command I'm executing, you need to perform the same commands, right? Just the machine will be changed because few are the new lectures and few are the existing lectures. So thank you team, see you next time.